And you're recording.
We're good to go. So I'd like to call this regular meeting of council to order for May 5th, 2020. Could you please stand for a moment of silent reflection? Thank you very much. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof?
Two people.
Seeing none, we will just pause for a minute until we welcome two more people.
I don't know how to do this one. Press this. So you see the waiting room? Oh, okay. I'm not sure which two. One person waiting message. Huh? Not sure.
I'm going to let you come up, Laura, and just try.
It said two people were in the waiting room.
Let's see.
And at the top it says one person's waiting.
That's me in there,
Oh,
but I'm not going to join the video.
okay.
I think we're good.
Is it good? Okay.
Maybe see more. No, that's just me.
Okay.
So I don't need to commit. There you go.
Okay, so we'll start with the mayor's address. At our virtual county council meeting on April 29th, 2020, it was recommended that each municipality in the county should have a separate account set up to track any expenses related to the COVID-19 pandemic. County is intending to lobby the provincial and federal governments for financial support for our local businesses once the state of emergency is lifted. Taxes have been set for all of the lower tier municipalities and are attached as a report. Any late payment fees and interest on the June installments to the county have been deferred until September. However, municipalities are encouraged to forward any county taxes collected by the normal due date to the county of Brentwood. The province has indicated in their news bulletin on April 22nd, 2020, that all symptomatic and asymptomatic staff and residents in long-term care and retirement homes are to be tested for COVID-19. Unfortunately, Dr. Robert Cushman, the Chief Medical Officer of Health, has indicated that we do not have the lab capacity in Renfrew County to test everyone. Our maximum capacity is 100 to 150 daily tests. With council's approval, I would like to direct staff to send thank you letters to the Eganville Rotary Club, the Eganville and Killaloe Food Banks, and the Algonquins of Pequotwagon for their support and assistance in establishing our Golden Lake Food Bank. In addition, I suggest we send a thank you letter to the Whalens, the owners of the Coconut Cafe, for the donation of their building in the Golden Lake and their food supplies. That is my mayor's address. And I get a mover and a seconder to accept the address. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Schunfeld. The council accepts the mayor's address as presented. Councilor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
and myself, yes. That's carried, thank you. Yes,
Just maybe one thing, so if the governments are gonna ask municipalities what expenses they have incurred because of COVID, should we send that out maybe to some of our businesses too, make a people watch sheet, so then if there was paperwork that needed to be filled out, get more documentation, like I think land and places like that.
I'm sure that's something we could do.
I mean, it might be just good because at the time it's better than trying to rethink, 4 months from now. Something country, any problem with their business.
We'll just add that to our Thursday breakfast.
Okay, that's a good idea. So we're just thinking that they can keep track, anything, because it could be something as much as just communication or more internet that you have paper or something.
Thank you. So just to follow up on the mayor's address, I have a resolution that council authorizes the purchase of 25 gift cards from the Eganville Food Bank and $25 denominations to be provided to the Sharing Place Food Bank to be used to provide residents an emergency access need for basic necessities of life as an emergency action. And I got a mover and seconder. Moved by Councilor Robinson. Seconded by Councilor Burke. Discussion, questions, Councilor Schoenfeld.
So who would decide then? We're just leaving that to food bank people would decide?
They get calls in between their regular food bank days for people who are in emergency need of food or supplies. So this would be something that they would use in case of an emergency. They would hand it to somebody who needs it. Councilor Burke.
Mayor, do you know how often open go, just once a month?
I thought it was 2 days a month, but I would have to check and make sure that I know they're open
Well, they're open from there to stop them here too.
yeah, they're open, I think the second Thursday and maybe the fourth, but
I can check with Dale.
Yeah.
She was always in there.
and she has her phone number.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah,
I also think that they work very closely with Veterans Works and
they do.
those agencies, because they usually provide it.
I can say that just from communication from the Eganville Food Bank, it's really taken a load off of their food bank, and they aren't as cramped for space now that we have the one where they can fill roofs and the same thing. So it
It's
is
just sort of even out the
it has, yeah, and it's made it much more accessible for the residents in our community because they don't have to drive in two opposite directions. Any other comments, questions? Then I will call for the vote. Councilor Buckwald,
I'm for.
Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
yes.
and myself, yes. That's carried, thank you. Moving on to the adoption of the minutes. I have a resolution that council accepts the April 21st, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Any additions, corrections, or omissions? Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld?
Could we scroll down to number 11, matters of urgency? Please. If anybody just doesn't have front of them, if you just read that one part and then read the second part, it seems a little confusing. I read it a couple of times and I actually got Kevin to read it, and he thinks the way I thought it there, but that's not the way it should be. Now it's kind of confusing when you tell me that. So when I read the first part there, it says Councilor requested the April, and I get all that stuff, matters of urgency, amendment to the approved budget to remove the 4% roads reserve increase due to COVID-19. So that's what Councilor Burns has brought forward, and then I motion seconded by Melvin. But then when you read the second part here, it says that council amended the 20 budget that was passed by council on February 25th, so that means change it, and withdraw contributions from reserves for 2020. I think we got that backwards somehow. Because it makes it look like you guys
I would
are,
agree with Councillor Schoenfeld.
right? Yeah, so it looks like we.
I would agree with you. It looks like it's been written backwards.
Yeah.
The ones that voted yes should have voted no, should be turned about.
Yeah, so I don't know if that statement that council amend, that has to be changed somehow, because I read it a bunch of times and I'm like, and then I got Kevin to read it and he's like, yeah, it seems like you and Melvin want to keep the 4% in roads reserves and other people want to remove it. And I'm like, that's not the way it went down.
It's just a yes and a no, or should we just change?
No, I think
No, it can't.
the wording is
The
wrong.
wording, you can't say amend, because amend means change for 25, and you can't say withdraw, because that means keep the contributions out.
Does not amend?
I don't know.
No.
So it's not. It's
Not to amend.
Yeah, okay, not to amend the 2020 budget and not to remove, and I would even go further and say the road reserves for 2020, because that was the whole thing for the 4% was roads reserves specifically, not reserves in general.
Laura, can you do it in there, please?
To road reserves. Well, no, sorry, Laura. Just put
This was road fund reserves.
road in front of reserves now.
Just contributions from just right from there, and that should be okay. From road reserves. I think,
Yeah.
I think so. Take out the two. That, I think that's better, that's definitely more clarified, other than that, it would be like,
Too far.
no, that is fine. If we didn't change it though, it definitely didn't give the right.
I'll read it back so you can hear it, Doug. That council not amend the 2020 budget that was passed by council on February 25th, 2020, and not withdraw the contributions from road reserves for 2020. Does that sound better to you?
Yes, I would agree that that was our intent at the time.
Is everybody else in agreement with that? Were there any other additions or corrections? Being none, then I will say that council accepts the April 21st, 2020 regular meeting minutes as amended. Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yes,
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
and myself. That's carried. Thank you. That brings us to item 5.2, which is our special meeting minutes. And I have a resolution, the council accepts the April 27th, 2020 special meeting minutes. And I get a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld. Any additions, corrections, or omissions? Seeing and hearing none, then I'll call for the vote. And it's the minutes as presented. Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld,
yes,
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Yes, for myself, that's carried, thank you. So we get to delegations, and that's the pre-launch live demo of the township website. So I will turn that over to staff.
I'm going to excuse myself from our if I can do them.
Okay.
Bailey, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, there she is.
All right. Am I on the screen?
No.
Okay. Not yet.
Pardon?
You have to let me into the meeting.
No, Caitlin was already in. You don't need that one on.
Okay, so
But you need to connect this one back to the screen.
it says that I'm not in though.
No, you're just in the waiting room.
So you should have it up there. I don't know where it is.
I don't know. We need to get this one back onto the big screen, Andrew.
If everybody can hear me while we figure out getting the screen up, I can just give an overview of what we're going to do with the website, or go over with the website tonight. That works for everyone? Okay, so essentially we're just going to do a walkthrough of the website. I'm going to go over the main pages that are going to make a big difference in the user friendliness of the website and how it's changing from the old website. I'll ask everyone to hold their questions until the end, just because of Zoom with microphones interrupting. It can sometimes lag and be a bit of a technical mess. So at the end, I will welcome all questions and notes on what we would like to see. A few things I do want to mention. We are near complete to go for a soft launch. So what the soft launch will look like is putting this website on our current server and host to be the official website for North Algona Wilberforce. However, we will not announce it on Facebook or any other platforms that we use for advertising. Of course, it'll be in the minutes and it'll be public knowledge, but we will do the soft launch for about 2 weeks, just to make sure everything's running smoothly and nothing's breaking on the website. So that's the plan. And all we have to do is switch things over to our new server and host spot for switching over the old one to the new one, and as well as in detail second set of eyes on the website. So going over official grammar and spelling. It should be in good standing right now, but just before we launch it, we want to make sure everything's super clean. I am on the big screen now. I can see myself. Okay. Before I start, does anybody have any questions?
Mark, could you turn it up in there? Is there a way you can turn it up? Thank you.
All right, so welcome back to the website. The last time we were here, it was quite different. So the first thing that you see when you come to our homepage is what you see right now on your screen. So the very top of the page, the red banner, is an important banner that will only come up if there's something important, like a new bulletin for COVID-19 update, waste recovery center information. If there's anything like that that we really need to let the viewers know, it'll come up in that banner. It's very easy to get rid of. It stays until you click the exit, but the link here goes to a full write-up that shares more information on the topic that we're displaying in the banner. So I'm just going to exit out of that for now and go over the rest of the homepage. So you can just disregard this black bar at the top. It's because I'm logged in as an editor right now. That won't be seen. But first things first, we have our top navigation. So we're on the homepage and we have our government tab, which is pretty lengthy. I'm going to go over a few pages in here that really show function. And if you'd like to see any other pages at the end by request, just let me know. Same with our residence tab here. Some pages here have multiple pages under them, so you hover over and there's a township gallery as well as that falls under the Parks and Rec page, and there's a couple under the business tab as well. So that's how that function works. We next have our events calendar. So that'll take us right to the events calendar, super easy to find for people, one click away. The current news is going to be the page that acts like our homepage right now. So where we're posting all of the information, bulletins, updates, anything like that, plus other community stories and some lighter information can live on that page. So that way it has a landing page and it's not bogging down the homepage. This is just a quick link. So if somebody just is looking to call, they can click that. And if they're on their cell phone, it'll directly call. And then our contact page and a search bar. So this, to the left of the screen, our accessibility tab, we can click that. And there's a number of options here. So we can increase our text size, decrease it. We can go grayscale. Oh, there we go. High contrast, light background. These are all just tools that will make the website more accessible for viewers that have specific needs. So just to toggle that back on, I'm just going to click it. And as we scroll down, we have another bit of a landing page. So what's happening in North Algona Wilberforce? This is just a snippet of what's going on. So both the community events and the council meetings tabs will show the next 3 upcoming meetings and events, like the current news. So there are 3 articles or posts on the current news page, so it shows all 3. And there was the May 7th, but we have the events to disappear upon start. We can change that so that the May 7th meeting would still be showing right now. And that's something if you want to take a note of and let me know at the end if that's something you would like to see. So these are pretty self-explanatory. You hover over and it takes you to another page. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like for the council meeting. I'm just going to click there. And the event has its own landing page. So this is where more information lives. We could have posted the Zoom meeting number in here or any other notes that council or the administrative staff would have liked to include. It also has some tools so that we can easily share this on our Facebook or other people can share it on theirs and other channels or email. And you can add it to your Google Calendar or export it for another type of calendar if you'd like. I'm just going to go back to the home page. The same thing will happen if you go to the park event. Park event is just a test because we don't really have any recreation events scheduled right now. I will show what the current news page looks like. It'll also take us to its own landing page. And this was the post from May 1st, and it goes through. I've taken the extra step because we're not putting this on the homepage and we can put more links. I added the Ontario and federal COVID-19 updates links. So that information is there as well. And any other links can be added to those articles. So that's it for that section. We'll scroll down a bit further and we have a few more quick links. So these are not active right now just because it's not live on a server, but this will just quickly take us to our About page. This is another quick link to the calendar. I know that was an issue in the past of people not being able to find the calendar, so we made that very obvious. And again, contacting the township. So the very bottom of the homepage is a Visit Us section, has the Google Maps link because I know there's been an issue in the past of landing on the other side of Eganville when typing in the address on Google Maps. I kind of ran into that one myself. So we made it a bit simpler. The map is right there. This link also goes directly to a Google Maps link and a little bit of information about the township. I added in this currently our office is closed, just so that that's obvious to the public and we can take that out when needed. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and under the government tab, I will take us to our council page. So this page is has a lot of function compared to what we were doing before, displaying our agendas and meeting minutes and any other additional forms that need to be added. I'm just loading here. The internet's lagging. Okay, here we go. So on the council page, again, we have the upcoming meetings. It'll show up to 3 meetings in that bar there along here. And as we scroll down, this is I do need to add 2020 so that we know what year we're looking at here. Just something to note, and I'm gonna write that down for myself right now. So that'll have the 2020 meeting minutes and agendas. So I'll take us over to January because there was a lot going on there and it gives a good example. So under these tabs, we will organize by date, and each agenda is linked in and organized by committee as well. And what I think February, there was additional things. I just wanted to show another feature that really helps keeping things organized here. Okay, here, so under April, we had quite a few things going on as well, and additional PDFs and material was added after the meeting. So just to keep that organized, you go under the April tab and the administrative staff will just add that right in to additional notes versus having a massive scroll page of links that aren't really organized by date or month. So that keeps things a bit more organized for the time being. And we'll add our agenda here, minutes as we receive them. So we have our archived meetings here. I'll just click one to show what they look like. So we have them all in organized by date. The PDFs are not linked in yet. This will take a little bit of time to transfer over this information to the site. And we're just going to put a little blurb letting the public know that we are updating our archive feed and just to be patient as we switch over to the new website. That's kind of part of the soft launch, the 2 weeks, making sure everything's working, getting all those links live. So that is the council page. So bylaws and documents, opportunities and tenders and departments are all forms and application as well. They're all formatted the same way. So I'm just gonna show you one page right now to just show the function of the page. So opportunities and tenders is fully updated. There's little notes on how to work the accordion drop-down menus that we have here because they're a little bit different than our old website and just makes it a bit more user-friendly. So we'll just click the plus sign here, and this is where we can put all of our live links. So essentially, the way this is organized is by title, and the links and information live within the menu. And we can add any more information into there that we would like. It doesn't just have to be a quick link to a PDF. It can have a bit of a description, title, other links to external websites, whatever you need in those categories. So that's essentially the same way bylaws and documents works as well with the accordion menu. Things are somewhat updated on here. We're still adding the 2020 bylaws. Those were scanned today and they'll be live for the soft launch. And we created a category called frequently viewed. So if you guys just want to take a quick note on this part, to think about the bylaws. I know administrative staff will have some thoughts on it too, but the bylaws that are most important, and that way we can just put them in the frequently viewed, what people are looking for most often. That way it's a quick link for them there, and they're not scrolling through the years. So see documents is a button that isn't working live at the moment. Oh, it worked. Okay, never mind. Some of these work right now and some of them don't because of this not being on a live server. So that just dropped us down to the documents part of the page. So before, each of these links lived on their own page and it didn't really make sense. So we just created a document section that have all of the plans. Again, we can put little paragraphs under each link explaining them if we think that is necessary. We didn't think so, but if that's something you want to note, just let me know at the end. All right, so the next page I want to go over is fire department and emergencies. So this page integrates the fire department web page with our web page. So we brought over all of the information from their website. So it's displayed here, and we can set up some sort of system with the fire department so that they're sending us updates that they'd like on the website, and administrative staff can make those edits as needed. And this button again takes you, so see emergency plans. We'll see if it works. It will take you to a different part of the page, just past the fire department. And these are all federal and provincial kind of plans put out to, especially for rural communities. There's a couple different ones. And this lived on our website before, so we just brought that information over. All right, so going under residents tab, I want to go over the Parks, Recreation, and Community page. The load time for the website is, it's usually pretty good. Even testing it at the township, it was moving pretty quickly. There's just a lot going on with the Zoom meeting and everything, and I think it's just bogging down my internet right now. Just to note that, because that is important. Okay, so Parks, Recreation, and Community. So there's a little blip at the top of the page that just explains that the township is beautiful, has great parks, landscapes. The points of interest button will take us to another point in the page, but I'll just scroll down manually and show you where that'll land. And you can click to the business directory. So this is for residents or visitors if they're looking for any information on what to do in the area. Again, we have a display of what events are coming up and a full link to the calendar, a link to the full calendar. We agreed that a featured location is a good idea, and within the office we agreed on Melissa Bishop Park. So there's a write-up here on the park, why it's named Melissa Bishop Park, what's within the park. We talk about the activity hub with the paddle boards and kayaks, 10-minute drive from a number of businesses and attractions. And then there's a little gallery that just features Melissa Bishop Park photos, which is pretty cool. And then the points of interest is what this page looks like on our current website. It just has dates, names, or addresses, names of the place, and contact information. So we just clean that up and put it into tables. So it's pretty self-explanatory there. That's something that we might need to go over once the soft launch is done to figure out if there's a few more locations that we need to add, and that can be done super easily. All right. So the Township Gallery is like the Melissa Bishop Park, but featuring the whole township. I'm not going to go to that right now, but I will take us to the current news page. So we clicked on a quick link on the home page that took us to a specific article. This is a page where all of those articles live. So again, there is a little write-up on how to use this page if anybody is confused when they land here. you can click either the title or the read more button at the bottom. So I've added in the 3 most recent updates, and we can add any other articles here. This was kind of a fun idea that we had if somebody in the community wanted to submit a recreation story or a community story, that they can submit a request. This is something that we don't have to include. If that's something you want to note or have a comment on, for or against, please just let me know at the end. I'm not going to click into this again, but I'm just going to remind you when I click into that, it's exactly like that quick link on the first page with the banner photo and then all the information below. So under business, we have a pretty awesome new feature that makes this a lot easier and saves some time on labor, essentially, of building a business directory, because I know that it's been in the works for a while. So I've added just a few businesses to show what it'll look like. I'll just go to the caves to show how their profile looks. So the profile, I just copy and pasted this from their website. You can go to their address. There's a map option. You can zoom in and out if you need to here. The phone number is linked, the website's linked, and people can leave reviews. So this is not there's no review yet. That's something that we can turn on and off if we'd like to, but it is kind of a cool in-house spot for both residents and visitors or newcomers to navigate through and see what they would like to adventure or check out in the township. Feed some economic development. And the cool feature that I was talking about is the add your business form. So I'm just going to show again, under business, you can go to 2 different tabs, the directory or adding a business. I'm just going to click through on the page here. So this is a form where you submit all of that information I just showed you on the business profile. So I give a little, we gave an overview here of how to do your maps, because it's required. You have to provide your coordinates, which not everyone has. So that's a little bit of a hiccup, but most people who have businesses want it on a map and know their coordinates, or they can just use this reliable website that we linked for them. They can fill out the application and submit it. Again, at the top, we note that we have the township reserves the right to approve or disregard an application. We can also correct information so that it's accurate and appropriate. And yeah, I like that tool. I thought it was pretty cool. So that's that page. I'm going to take us to our full events calendar, which is a quick link on the top. This won't ask viewers. This is just because I'm logged in and I was selecting things on the page there. So I can leave the page. So this is what our events calendar looks like. Again, a little blip on how to navigate the calendar. So when it is in category, and if you think we should write a little note on this, we can. When it's in category, that means everything is showing, all events. And then you can also select your sub headings, categories for events. So if I just want to see council meetings, I go to council meeting, recreation and events, just go to that. So here is our test event. Again, if I click that, it takes me to the page that has more information on the event, the export for the calendar, etc. All right. And it has a toggle through for months, similar to ours now, a little bit more modern. I know we could add in icons. We don't have that feature, but I think that there are a lot more pluses to this calendar than the old calendar, just with the full link to the page with more information, things like that. That was what I had on my list to go over, just so that we have an overview of the main tools that we're utilizing on the new website that are making it a lot more user-friendly. I'd welcome any questions or comments on the website now.
Councilor Director Schoenfeld.
Hi, it looks great, Kaylee. A couple questions. So once it's live, then is it easy for the staff to like change things, like let's say the homepage picture or stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually had training last week, and I created very in detail how-to documents with screen grabs and indicating where to click and how to change things, because that will be the reality of the new website, is the learning curve for staff to update and keep the website rolling properly, because we do need to be updating the current news page, the events calendar, all of those things. So yes, that is definitely a possibility. And we can change the photos before launch too, if that's something we want, or by season. The thought here was the top photo shows summer and the second photo on the homepage shows fall. And those are two pretty popular seasons. So that was kind of the thought of those staying like that. One thing with staff changing photos is we want to think about the design aspect of it and maybe consult on that a bit before going in and just picking a random image.
Also, do you know, are all the bylaws going to be current, or are you just putting in the ones that were on our old website?
The bylaws are going to be current. We currently pulled from the old website just because it was a lot of content transfer over. That's something that the office is working on, and I know that that's a task that they have to clean up the bylaws, figure out what's relevant, what's not, and then also adding the 2020 category, so we have the most relevant bylaws in there.
And one last thing. So you know you had your business category or tab. So is it your intention to think about as many businesses that we have, or is it your intention to send information out to the businesses to say, there's a tab on our township website, fill out this information and we'll post it for you? Is that kind of?
Yeah, the second option. So essentially, with our old business directory, it was someone's task to complete that at some point, and I think it just kept getting pushed down because there's always so much to do and it's a small office. So essentially, this just saves time for the staff, and the businesses, if they want to be featured on the website, can go directly to the business directory and add their own business, and that's something we can share on Facebook. We can also put out a bulletin on our current news page, and we can slowly add businesses ourselves, but it is better for the business to do that themselves because they're going to add more details and the true information that they'd like to be displayed there.
Might I suggest if we had our tax bills going out at some point in time, we have like some kind of insert saying, if you're a local business, you know, go to the web page, download this information, because that's the one thing everybody does get is a tax bill. So, and I mean, I think it would be really nice to have all the businesses that we have in our township listed there. Thanks, Kaylee, for answering my question.
Yep, no problem.
Kaylee, nice.
Yes,
Mhm.
Councilor Robinson.
When I see government, I find that it's not inclusive. And it doesn't really, it's when,
Okay.
quite often when you think of government, you're thinking of, you know, federal government, the provincial government, not the municipal. So I would say either town hall versus department. I think
Yeah.
we got much under that one column.
Okay, so are you suggesting to change the full drop-down menu or to reformat?
Okay, could you do drop-down menu for government and see what's in there? Yeah, there's so much stuff in there. There is bylaws, there's a council, and then you have other things that are departments. Departments, fire department, the administration, that's a whole other section from policies and bylaws.
So I can add new tabs. It doesn't take any time really. So we could categorize or talk about categorizing things in a different way, where say about us and contact live together, because in my opinion, those two kind of go together. Their communication, telling people what the township is, and I don't know what we would call that, but then council, would you say council, bylaws, opportunities and tenders, and forms and application all to go together under a category?
I would say council and bylaws are, are one. Then as well as, but opportunities departments, you have the department, which is the fire department. And then you have the other departments, the administrative, public works. Those are, to me, another heading almost, as opposed to having to drill down 3 levels to try and find it.
Yeah. So,
You have a suggestion? So in a lot of websites for municipalities, it's the governance instead of government, but I think we'd be looking at more business administration, like your council administration.
Right.
Is it covered everything?
Pardon me, sorry?
Township and admin or council administration, because it's covered everything.
Right.
As opposed to the word government.
Yeah.
I agree, like government is
It's
not, it doesn't sound like our municipal government. It
No.
doesn't sound like non-government, it sounds like government. And some people might not associate that tab with all those things.
Exactly.
so maybe there's a word that we can just retitle that. I don't think creating multiple other drop-down menus. I think maybe one more drop-down menu would be good. But when you have too many options to it, also bogs down viewers and is a little bit less user-friendly
Okay.
on the design side of things. So my suggestion would be, just to make one more if we want to, and then rename government, maybe like municipal something, or think of something else to title that makes it a little bit more inclusive and invites people to actually see what's under that tab.
Okay. I would agree with that. But I think there's way too much under that one tab.
Okay.
There's also multiple links, there's multiple ways of getting to certain things.
Yes.
It's like, what I mean, we could go, the calendar, for instance, and a number of different ones. So, and I think people will just get used to it.
Mm-hmm. And just curious, I was just curious on the green. Try getting
On the,
you're putting it on the website.
sorry, what was the question? It kind of cut in and out.
Okay, so I was asking a question on the color of green. That's puppy green.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's nice.
I call
That
it.
it can be changed for sure.
I was just asking.
Yeah, to me,
We've got a consensus with the training the other day. We all like this.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes a certain color makes it difficult to pick things up. Like, that to me is that kind of a neutral color, like a lime green would be horrible.
Yeah.
And, or some like a bright color this way, it kind of.
But why not blue?
What makes it feel good?
I could do.
I was just asking.
I agree with Laura, there's too much blue, especially when we're highlighting.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just shut up.
And I like the red.
Yes. Yeah.
Councilor Buckwell, did you have any comments?
Actually, I think it's a nice, definitely a nice upgrade. The one question I did have, as you've transferred the information over, especially into the current documents, they're all nicely formatted and justified. Have you provided templates for other announcements type thing? Because I know generally, as opposed to just using the letterhead, if we had the actual template for them to put it in with the proper pre-formatting, either through CSS or however Wix does it.
Yeah, so we're through WordPress, and the way that it works is you upload a media library. So all of the images, all of the banners, logos, icons live within that media library, and they can be reused for any other use on the website. They can also be downloaded so the township can use them on other documents or letterheads, like you said. So it doesn't actually live within code unless there's text. So the banners and stuff at the top of every page, that's all image based, and it does live within the website. So you would just search logo banner, and the banner that showed up when I first showed the bulletin, that was the blue banner with the logo justified to the left. That lives, and you can reformat that. Another thing that's really nice and what we highlighted in training and something I really highlight on the how-to documents is the administrative staff can duplicate things. So we can duplicate a page or duplicate the way an event looks, the way a current news post looks, and then just go in and change the meat of the post. So changing of the content. And that way that it has it's uniform and, you know, stays on brand.
Okay, yeah, because I was just browsing through the different items that you had put through, and yeah, I see the blue logo with the township logo on the left side, and yeah, just so that you know anything that we put into there as text basically has a similar format, so that it all looks uniform across all the postings.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll just click this bulletin. So the exact same formatting is here. And to create the May 1st update, what we did was we just duplicated this one, April 30th. So it kept the same banner and photo and the same formatting on the title and date, and then the content below, as well as the links. And that will, again, be a little bit of a learning curve. And we went over that in training because it is quite different and it is a little bit more advanced, because a new website is great, but updating it is really important too. And that's something that I really put a lot of effort and focus on with the how-to documents and the training part of everything to make sure that that happens. And I am, like, everyone has my contact information. And with this website too, it's not just like, oh, here it is. There's a month or so of figuring things out and communicating and making sure the staff is on the same page and has all their questions answered.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Kaylee, I was just looking at the Laurentian Valley's website, and what they did was they really placed government council, and then under council are all the different tabs that you would, like bylaws, council members, municipal staff, committees, meetings, tenders. And I'm just thinking maybe that's something, if we're consistent even in other townships, maybe you could look to see what Laurentian Valley does. And then at least people that are looking up certain stuff will always go, we always go to the council tab and find that. That's just.
Okay. Yeah, I think that works well. I did, that was something that we did browse, was a bunch of other websites, and Laurentian Valley was one of the ones I looked at often, especially with their agenda plugin. But that makes sense to have, we can have a full council tab and organize it the way you just said. And then also have, I think, having another tab that is still government, or maybe it's something like that where people know they can access forms, opportunities, tenders. I don't know what we'll call that page. If anyone has suggestions.
Tenders usually go under the specific departments.
Most municipal websites just has a tenders and opportunities page from what I've been looking at, and they all kind of live under there, and then they're categorized in their title by that department. So when you go to opportunities and tenders, it has the title, which represents the, like, what part of the township you're working under, I guess, or what part of the township the RFP falls under. Mm-hmm. That was something I did look at. I cross-referenced a lot. I don't know if changing the full format of this page and putting it under each department.
Now, what I was saying is that you have a category for what Janet was saying, was you have council and staff, and it's separate from departments, because then you can expand on the departments.
That sounds good to me. For figuring out what those new tabs are, I can create a document and share it, and maybe we can write down our ideas in there for the names, and figure out which goes under there, and everyone can kind of put their input in a different color font, and we'll go from there. Just because I think formatting it and then physically looking at it, I can share the link after, and we can all agree on the final format of those drop-down menus, if that works for everyone.
Okay. This question isn't for Kaylee, but it's just for council, and then are we gonna, have some residents have the opportunity to look at it and give them our 2 cents? Like sometimes, you know how like we naturally want certain things, but as a resident, they might see something totally different. I'm just saying, like, do we ask like a couple of groups, community groups, or even like, Foodland or somebody, Country People? You know, I'm just thinking, is there something that we're missing or something that should be in another category? And, you know, because we as council see things differently perhaps as a taxpayer.
Can I just comment on that? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to note the soft launch side of things. Because during a soft launch, we can extend it to a month, and that's where I would guess that residents are going to be calling in and asking questions and making comments on the website, and we could make our adjustments from there. That's just my recommendation with that one, just because it is really hard to organize doing a survey, and not hard, but it will be timely. But obviously that's up to you guys. That's just my opinion on that one. And sorry, I'll let James, I think, was talking.
Maybe in one of our releases like we normally do and say it's a soft launch and we're looking for residents and put on the website. It doesn't mean we have to listen to what they say, but it
just
means
gives us an idea.
that's right. If like 10 people suggested blank, you know, and we look at blank and we say that's a good idea, then I think that would be great. I mean,
we can bring it back to our table and discuss.
That's right. You know, or maybe it's just moving something within a category. You know what I mean? Like residents would think, no, I think this would be better under, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
you know,
just
but Kaylee, I would just, I would just say that it looks really, really good. It's very professional, and it gives you that welcoming feeling.
you feel like you can find things.
Yeah.
Councilor Burke, did you have any comments?
Sorry, please sort of.
So just a couple, Kaylee, and yes, thank you very much. I do like the ease of flow from the new site, and hopefully being the soft launch, residents, if they do have concrete suggestions or something that they would like to see, that's an opportunity for them to bring forward their ideas. You asked us a question at the beginning about leaving the meeting date up until the next day. That would be my preference, rather than have it wiped out as soon as the meeting starts.
Yeah, that's a super easy fix.
And I like your idea of, and council can probably send that to you, the bylaws that are frequently viewed, which ones they would like to see there. And the only other thing I would suggest we need to add is we need another tab under council and governance for committees. And under the committees, then I would like to have a description of what each committee involves, the makeup of the committee, the terms of reference, and the members of the committee.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure.
All right.
It's like information overload. So do we have, like, when I was looking at some websites, they would have, let's say under governance or under council, they would have bylaws, and then another tab would be policies. So like I'm thinking the harassment policy, or anyway, other municipalities group them together. Truly, I like when I could go and I could see their specific policy on blank. So I'm not sure what we did there, or what you did there, or maybe did we have policies at all? Because I know bylaws and documents. I know like we do pass a number of different policies, so I'm not sure if that should be its own little section within there.
It could be another drop down.
Yeah, because I know I was looking at different websites, and I kind of like the idea of policies, because even when I was trying to search something, a harassment policy, and I want to compare it to Laurentian Valley, it was difficult to find it. But when I went to Kingston municipality, it was policy, it was right there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Put the chair of this person, the chair of the committee.
It certainly could be.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's looking for recreation and they want to talk like the chair, with the chair, that would be really important to them.
All right, I noted. I noted everything down there. The one thing I just want to make a comment on is policies, and we didn't have any of those previously on the old website. So that's something as council that I would suggest, and maybe Andrew has something to say on this, is figuring out what our policies are, or sourcing those documents, entitling them policies versus bylaw. And yeah, we can absolutely add another drop-down section or a side menu off of bylaws and documents to make it a bit easier to find. Awesome.
Thanks, Kaylee. I'm not seeing any more questions or comments, so you have some information and you're going to be sending us some, so we'll look forward to seeing that.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It was great.
All right. Awesome. Enjoy the rest of the meeting.
That was really good.
Just wait till you're done there, then.
Mhm.
Andrew's back with us.
Just not with us anymore.
So we'll move on to reports. Item 7.1 is the leach severance B104-19. So I have a resolution that council recommends the approval of consent B104/19 for Brian and Margaret Leach to sever 2.4 acres from their 7.29 acre property being part of Lot 10 Lake Dory Range, fronting Stonehenge Road. Stonehenge Road can support this additional development. Further, this recommendation is conditional upon the applicant meeting the minimum distance separation policy. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments or questions? Councillor Rankin.
So before we pass this, they're gonna show us that they have the two barn issue fixed, is that correct?
So if I may,
Yes.
but before county will approve it, before we approve, we have to support it on that condition. So basically, all we're doing tonight is saying we support that application if they meet all the minimum standards.
So that's the barn issue that they have.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Burke,
Yes.
Councillor Rankin-Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
And yes, for myself, that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.2 is unopened road allowance. I have a resolution that council enter into a memorandum of understanding, prescribed snowmobile trail land use permission to permit the Eganville Snowdrifters Snowmobile Club to use the unopened extension of Shaw Woods Road between Cold Creek and Jessup Road as part of their snowmobile trail through the township. And then mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Rankin-Schoenfeld. Comments or questions? Councillor Rankin-Schoenfeld.
Okay, so because I'm very unfamiliar with this, is there a lot of work that has to be done to make it into a snowmobile trail? Like brushing and such like that?
So, did you want to answer that, Ingrid?
So we wouldn't be involved in any work.
Right.
It would be their issue. So they're just asking for the agreement. They have to provide their own insurance, their own liability.
So while they're working on the trail itself, that would all be covered again, you know, WSI.
They have to do everything, that's what we'd be requiring them to do.
And if it did, actually there'd be something that they had to do. So would that then open it up for 365 days of traffic? Maybe?
My understanding is it's only for the winter snowmobile trail.
There was some,
If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, either that section of road that they want to use is not winter maintained.
No.
And that's the part that they would like to use for the snowmobile trail. They do, in their report, they do carry 15 million in general liability and have additional environmental coverage. And, yeah, sorry.
Just, you have two different resolutions too.
Yeah, there's two different parcels.
Okay,
So the one is for one parcel or doing one or to do both. And the other one is the unopened road allowance between section 3 and 4 and Gerwitz Road, which you may want to look at that as a different one, being that there's some discussion on that on the trail.
That was where I was going to ask you about.
So you can separate.
so we
so
just,
we could deal with this one first, and then we should, I have both of them, yeah.
You can do both, or choose to do just one. So your first resolution is just a one, or you can do both. So if you choose to do both, then you would read the second resolution. If you choose to do just the one, then
Yeah.
I suggest you might want to look at that other last one.
Yeah, I was going to say that needs to be a separate discussion item. This is kind of the other stuff we're talking about this night.
There is some discussion going on about that Wilkins Trail, and the possibility, and there was some discussion that the sportsman called about using their property. So council may want to not do that one part and just do the other part for now.
Okay.
And it is May, opposed to.
So some direction then I'm looking for, how do I proceed? Should I look at the two first?
If it's council's agreement that you really want to do one, then just read the one resolution and you don't have to go to the second resolution.
Yeah, because my thought is that the second part of part 2 needs to be discussed separately. Would be my thought. Because of all the other conversations that are taking place right now.
So if council is in agreement, then you would use this one, which you have, this is the one on the table.
That's right, yes.
So you can do that one right now.
So let's deal with the one that's been moved and seconded.
and that's the show was Cold Creek, that's it.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
You want me to reread it?
No, I'm not sure it's not.
No, I don't think it is. But is any part of that road open now?
It can be traveled in the summer.
That's on the sponsor when it was signed, there's a gate and signed and no trespassing? Is that where you go into on open road?
No, it's actually, I've traveled it myself once or twice, but certainly not in the winter. And it connects Cold Creek to, it just goes straight across.
If we do this, will there be other like special interest groups that will be asking us to open other road allowances, like maybe there's trail riders of Ontario and then us, like I don't know, like are we setting precedent for ourselves? Do we have to worry about people on that road complaining now that there's more traffic, just like, you know, that lady up by Golden Lake across from where the Oxford used to have this, you know, and she really talked about the fact it's the trail, but then it's got noise and, you know, violent, I'm gonna like open up and kind of worms for the residents again.
If I'm not mistaken, on this road, I really don't know if there's any farms or houses on that, off of that road.
Well, just to add to what the council was saying, when you allow one exclusive route to use a road allowance, sometimes for somebody else who wants to use the road allowance too, or decide that this is their road allowance, that they have the right to. So sometimes there's some issues with that. But it's not uncommon to do road allowances for small.
This is council right here. We did this with, we opened a road allowance up Traymore Road, and it was for the Rankin County,
The four-wheel
four-wheelers. Because they got landlocked up there, the 3K down with pieces of land that wasn't being used and they were for the 4 years. So we have done it in the past.
Well, one advantage of doing this as well, because this isn't a winter maintained road, one of the challenges we have with some of our, and I think a snowdrifters road where the groomer is actually grooming snow back onto our roads after they're plowed, and that's happening on, and like you said, at that Breezy Heights, Wilbur Heights, yeah, where the groomer is actually putting snow back onto the road after it's plowed, which is causing our staff a bit of a challenge in the. So I have less concern about this when it's an unopened or an unused road allowance in the winter. But it's up to council.
But that, it's marked on the map here that we got in our agenda. It's just a yellow part, is that what they want open? And then you go across the lake? Like where do they go when they get to that? Is that Jessup Road there? Then you go down Jessup Road onto the lake?
That's what I would assume, this is all I have.
So what
Doesn't say that.
so they're gonna go across the lake?
It looks like that's the only place they can.
Well, I know they do it in the winter.
Yeah, we do cross.
Yeah, they cross the lake in the winter. So they probably go down Coal Creek and then cross.
Is this something we have to send back to them and say, what is your intention of this? Where are you going to go?
No,
What is it at?
no, I don't think so.
Like, it would have been nice that, I mean, but it's just COVID times, if there would have been a delegation that could specifically ask them.
And just reading the report, it says in both instances, the club is attempting to reroute existing trails around properties where the owner ended the club's use of their property. So they're trying to find another route.
That's not restricting.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments? Questions? Councilor Burke?
I did, just before the meeting tonight, I got a call from Tom Sugar. He's on this group for the snowdrifters. And he said this is really important route for him because this is a route that takes him to Pembroke. It's one of their busiest routes.
This is one of their.
Their busiest routes.
Oh, really?
From Eagle to Pembroke. It's one of the most used routes up. There's a lot of people from Eagle Road drive to Pembroke on the snowmobile, have lunch and come back, or dinner and come back.
Seeing no other comments, then I will call for the vote. Councilor Buckwald?
Yes.
Councilor Burke?
Yes.
Councilor Rankin-Shonko?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Yes, for myself. That's carried. Thank you. Okay. So I have the second part then, or a separate resolution, I should say, that council enter into a memorandum of understanding to prescribe snowmobile trail land use permission to permit Edenville Snowdrifters Snowmobile Club to use part of the unopened road allowance between concessions 3 and 4, Wilberforce from Burlitz Road southwest towards the Boche River, the property owned by Schroeder as part of their snowmobile trail through the township. Can we see that map, please, Andrew? So this one I'm less familiar with, but is that the unopened road allowance just past the Edenville Gun Club?
So this is the end of Gerlitz. And this is where part of the trail will be coming from that we're talking about Wilkins Trail.
Oh, yeah.
So this would be joining up. So it means they're getting onto Gurlitt from there. I don't know where it goes. Or they're anticipating someday getting into our road, but they'd be, at this point, they would just get onto Gurlitt and follow Gurlitt.
That's a dead end of rural is on the right-hand side there, right?
This would be the dead end of Gurlitt.
There's other road on this, and that would be the Fort Chieftain.
Yes.
Are they currently using that route where it's indicated in yellow? Or is that the one they want to use?
That's the subject area.
Okay.
And what is the Schroeder connection?
They must own the property.
He owns the property, that part of the trail goes through.
So he's giving us permission for the trail to be there, is that right? Like, I'm just kind of confused. This where it says southwest towards the property owned by Shore. So like my question is, why is that in there? And I'm traveling on Shore's property and that's okay. I guess I'm just.
They must allow them, some landowners let them go across their property.
Yeah. It's kind of a big assumption, like with this one, because how do we actually know that?
Yeah, unless they're gonna make us liable by saying yes.
And why did they include it? Like, that's what, rather than ask somebody from the snow with stuff, what this really means.
Yeah, I don't remember any snowmobile trail going along that.
So this is there, where's it up here?
Or can you scroll down?
Okay, come here.
Or scroll up, sorry.
All right, is this the yellow road right here? So that's the yellow road and where Shore is there on the.
So here's the property, yeah,
Right here.
just before Fort Shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would assume he still does that, land use agreement.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is this something that we need a little more detail on and we can still bring it back to the next?
Yes.
Like you said, it's the snowmobiles, even though it's for the snow.
Where,
Yes, Councilor.
where is the gun range from here? Is it part of the side of it?
Well, the gun range is this lot here,
On the side of it.
right, 334. And they own over 400 acres of that. It probably be something we just want to bring back, but we want to bring it back before the end of June, trying to work on things.
And I guess my question was, how does it relate to some of the other discussions that's been, and are there going to be any conflicts?
At this time, potentially, there could be benefits. If it's a shared use trail.
Okay.
But we're we're just starting this other discussion.
I understand, but I'm just saying we have to take that into account.
So if the council would like to defer this until the June meeting, that still gives them basically 5.5 months to get the trail ready.
Okay, fair enough. I would prefer to do that.
So would there be a possibility though that the Snow Drifters Club would be going on the part of the road that the Mennonites are on? Yes?
This is, the Gurlitt's Road is used, that at the start of it is used by Mennonites now. The Mennonites would like to get onto Gurlitt's to get eventually to Wilkins. So it will be a shared use now, and discussions that we've had not with the snowmobile club. Our ad hoc committee members believe that there could be a shared use between snowmobiles and the sled traffic basically in the winter of the Mennonite. So the sportsman club representative believes there could be some partnerships.
Okay.
So maybe, we haven't been able to meet because of the COVID thing. We're actually going to do a walk this week. A couple of us that are on the committee want to see the land. They haven't been able to do it. They want to do it before likewise. So I'm hoping by the end of the month we should have some ability to meet.
And so does the ad hoc committee group, the feeling is, or the flavor is that they'd be okay with their shared group and there'd be no conflict between groups?
And we're only 3 meetings into our ad hoc committee, but the belief is that it be available for as many as possible, like different interests. So the answer is probably yes.
And the other part of it is there's a snowmobile trail that exists now that comes into Douglas and crosses Marinite property. And they both share that trail. And the Marinites have said that the snowmobile, their experience with the snowmobilers has been that they've been very respectful and the horses don't get spooked by them.
Okay.
Because that trail comes out right at the top of the hill there. and
Yes, yeah.
That's where we cross Highway 60.
That's right. Yeah.
So, postpone to June.
Yeah, if council wishes to defer, then first I'll need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burke. And if it's council's wish to defer this,
And what, are you gonna ask them for more information?
Staff will do some research and we can meet.
Thank you.
You would have Tom share his information.
We should have the information.
You say you're gonna talk to him.
so I'll call for the vote. Councilor Buckwell, you in favor to defer this till a future meeting?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yes,
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
That's all, yes. That's carried. I'm sorry, that's deferred.
Very good.
Very, very good. Thank you. That brings us to item 7.3. I have a resolution that council accepts the February, March, and April library reports as presented. And I got a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Buchwald. We finally got it on it. Seconded by Councilor Burke. Comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Oh, sorry.
There's gonna be a loss to the library with no fundraising that going on.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But we haven't had any meeting. We're gonna be having a meeting next week, a virtual meeting, and seeing if everything is gonna be lost or not. But definitely the big fundraiser, which was next week, it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the discussions that we're gonna have now. And what does it actually mean?
Will they still be able to do the bingos, or are they all?
The bingos, we're still doing the bingos at the moment, but bingo also is closed.
Right.
We're still, we're probably will still getting some of the money from that because the friends haven't taken over for ownership because the charity status is still wiggling away. Yeah, that's brilliant. So from that perspective, yes. But for the other things like the other big fundraisers, dinner, the August Festival are sort of famous because whether or not, and the discussion is, I think what we're going to have is whether, like what I'm doing for other committees, is you push it forward or just fancy.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Councilor Buchwald?
Yes.
Councilor Burke?
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld?
yes,
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
And myself. That's carried. Thank you. So that brings us to item 7.4, which is the transition to full producer recycling. I have a resolution that reads, whereas the amount of single-use plastics leaking into our lakes, rivers, waterways is a growing area of public concern. And whereas reducing the waste we generate and reincorporating valuable resources from our waste stream into new goods can reduce greenhouse gases significantly. And whereas the transition to full producer responsibility for packaging, paper and paper products is critical to reducing waste improving recycling, and driving better economic and environmental outcomes. And whereas the move to a circular economy is a global movement, and that the transition of blue box programs would go a long way towards this outcome. And whereas North Algona Wilberforce Township is supportive of a timely, seamless, and successful transition of blue box programs to full financial and operational responsibility by producers of packaging, paper, and paper products. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burnt. Questions or comments? Councilor Robinson.
I guess what was the driver behind this?
Basically, AMO wants us to support them,
Okay.
and if there's a plan in Ontario to move to this,
Yes, I know
in my world, I don't see what is going to happen the way they project it to happen, but it's something that is good to support. You want the producers to be responsible. They don't want to be responsible.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other questions or comments, I'll call for the vote. Councilor Buchwald,
Yes.
Councilor Burnt,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
myself, yes. It's carried. Thank you. So that brings us to item number 9, which is correspondence, action and non-action. Oh, sorry. Still back at 7.4, just for clarification. So we supported this one, but there's another one here about Blue Box program. So this is all,
That's all part of the same.
but there was no number on this, so. Or is it all part of the same one?
Take 2 pages.
It's two pages, but
Okay.
so you just passed it.
Okay,
They just have to stick it together. Didn't all fit in one page.
okay, thank you. So we're on to correspondence. A resolution of council accepts items 9.1.1 to 9.1.4 as information. And I got a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Andrew Schoenfeld, seconded by Councilor Burns. Thank you. So if we can just go to OBWRC, I just wanted to bring it to council's attention. I don't know. That's the one. So if you scroll down to amount. Yeah, page 51. Okay. council wants to go down to page 51. Just wanted to.
That's the amounts.
That's the amounts, yes.
Okay.
So there's probably another year capacity left in the existing cell that the Ottawa Valley Waste Center is using for garbage. In order to move forward, they need to open up the remaining 2 cells. And in order to do that, they have to extend the leachate trench, which the estimate for the trench and opening those 2 cells are indicated, and these are just not specific estimates at this point. These are just, you know, your high level estimates. But it's anywhere from a low of 1.7 million to 2.4 million to do this. But I'm on page 51 of
The package, the agenda package.
The numbers don't come up.
Anyway, that translates to anywhere from 141,000 to 197,000 for our municipality for next year. So
That will happen next year?
this has to happen. Yeah, they're starting the work already now because they have to have this ready for the end of next year, because otherwise we'll be out of capacity compared to that so it's just, I just wanted to bring it to council's attention, because we'll certainly have to consider it when we start talking budget. And in fact, at our meeting,
Definitely at 8%.
at our meeting last week at the Ottawa Valley Waste Center, we talked a lot about this, and the board is thinking that we may have to take out a loan in order to make it a little more, give the municipality a little more time in order to pay off this amount, so that we have to take out another debenture over a number of years.
Is it,
Yeah,
was it 2021? Is that the one they have is paid off?
2022, yeah, the end of 2021.
That was a really big one.
That was, yeah. Anyway, that's just information. Just wanted to bring it to council's attention. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Councilor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councilor Berg?
Yes.
Councilor Ridley Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
And myself. Carrie, thank you. Action items, we have none, so that brings us to number 10, which is bylaws. I have a resolution that council enact the following bylaws. 2020-49 being a bylaw to regulate nuisance noise within North Algona Wilberforce Township. And bylaw 2020-47 being a bylaw to establish the communications committee and to direct communication to a committee of council. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councilor Schoenfeld, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments, questions?
I just have clarification maybe. So on the nuisance bylaw, just clarifying, so on section E, fireworks or similar devices outside of the permitted on weekends and statutory holidays from dusk until 11. So just fireworks would be over at 11:01, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then G, persistent barking, calling, whining, going, use training purposes for any purpose other than that of agriculture. So if I had a dog that was barking all the time, but I used him to chase cattle and sheep, that would be okay. But if I had a dog handling my dogs who were barking all the time, that would be okay. Right? Is that what I'm reading?
That would be that way, yes, a working dog is working.
Right.
And part of it, like a sheepdog, that's what a dog does.
Right. But if I have a kennel and I'm making my own living from selling registered dogs, and I'd have to.
Right.
How would you enforce that with some of these 4x4 trucks and the motorcycles, the exhaust systems on them?
So a bylaw officer cannot ask, we can ask someone to pull over, but they don't have to pull over, but they don't have the powers of so enforcing it is very difficult. Even like a dog, the dog stops barking when you get there. But not having something in place gives you no power.
I know, yeah.
So it gives us a method to go someplace with persistence. And if, for example, a four-wheeler has a license plate on it, so you have the ability to contact that person. So again, the dog stops barking when you get there. You have to have something in place. So just for council's information on this bylaw and the other bylaw, before these have come before council before, and this has gone to the province. The province suggested we do a couple of changes, and we changed it so it goes back to the province again. And then the other one was the one that you went through last week. So it's more of the housekeeping with this, but this one is the way the province wants it, because it's one we have. Basically, they're saying we can enforce it, but that's what they give us the ability to do that. They agree with the terms in this bylaw.
And one last thing, could we go in and where it just says noise from the use of lawnmower maintenance equipment, power equipment, blah, 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 or other similar devices with noise tends to disturb the inhabitants of the neighborhood or persons between the hours of. So basically, I'm just reading this correctly. So from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., they don't want anybody cutting grass or any chainsaws or anything. That way.
Basically at night.
After 9 o'clock.
After 9 o'clock, because after the sun goes down. And that would not exclude public works for cutting a tree down in the middle of the road or something like that. Because that's
Right, thank you.
No, because I have people in Golden Lake. There is a couple of people with big trucks that are early in the morning. And they on Saturday I was doing some work in Golden Lake, and the two motorbikes just went through there. And like the noise of them, they scared us. Like we were just standing there talking, and they just went by the house and it just full of earbuds. Like they're modified. How do you control that? But the trucks go through every morning at 6:30. They're saying they just wake everybody up on the street and they're shifting like they're loud. Well, I guess we could get the license plate number and turn over the OPT.
And just from past experience being by the officer, there are times when the OPP will come to you and say, is there anything you want to do with this person or this person, because there's nothing you can do. Right. Which gives you an opportunity.
Okay, so seeing no other questions or comments, then I'll call for the vote. Councilor Buckfall?
Yes.
Councilor Burns?
Yes.
Councilor Reddish-Schonfeld?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes, that's carried. Thank you. So that brings us to, sorry, no matters of urgency, no notice of motion.
Did we do the roll on communications committee on that?
Yeah, we did that.
Did we do the two of them?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we're gonna talk about that or not.
Upcoming meetings and unfinished business, we'll bring it forward from staff. So we have one item for a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality for local board. So can I get a mover and a seconder to move into close? Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Reddish-Schonfeld. Call for the vote. Councilor Bucklow,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yes,
Councilor Rakashmoto,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
myself, yes. That's carried, thank you. So we are now closed at, what's the time on the screen now?
9:42.
8:40.
8:42. Sorry.
8:42 p.m.
Big difference.
We'll be back up.